From the 1650s to the 1730s, maritime piracy experiences its golden age, heavily influencing the histories of North America, the Caribbean, West Africa, and states of the Indian Ocean. During the end of this era, Captain John Rackham of the Calico Jack gains fame from England to the Bahamas and Cuba, not necessarily for his own achievements, but for the charisma of his two female crew members, Bonny and Mary Read. Bonny, born in County Cork, Ireland, is the daughter of a servant woman, Mary Brennan, and her affluent father, William Cormac. Thus, Anne is an illegitimate daughter, raised by William in secret, with the two of them moving to London to avoid the family of William's wife. Hoping to raise Anne as a lawyer's clerk, he dresses her as a boy and names her Andy. After being caught, however, he is forced to move to the province of Carolina. William, Mary Brennan, and Anne struggle for a time as William tries to establish himself as an attorney. It isn't until he enters into the merchant business that he amasses a fortune. For the most part, Anne grows up wealthy, but a life of luxury isn't enough to dissuade her from being a natural hooligan. Her fiery temper gets her into fights, some of which turn violent and deadly. She gets involved with a small-time pirate, a rich sailor named James Bonny. Knowing James to be a good-for-nothing punk after his estate, William disowns Anne to protect his wealth. In retaliation, Anne and James elope, getting married and moving to a sanctuary for English pirates called the Republic of Pirates. Despite dabbling in piracy, James Bonny takes a position as the informant of Governor Woodes Rogers, selling out his fellow pirates to be arrested. Anne disapproves of her husband's work and doubles down on mingling with pirates at local taverns. It is here that she meets John Rackham and begins an affair with him. Wishing to claim Anne as his own, Rackham offers to purchase Anne from her husband, but is refused. Disposing of diplomacy, as pirates do, both Anne and Rackham escape the island, and Anne officially becomes a pirate on board the Calico Jack. For a time, Rackham tries to pass Anne off as a man, but this facade simply doesn't last. In contrast, there is Mary Read, daughter of an impoverished woman in England. Prior to birthing Mary, her mother lost her husband at sea, and her son tragically passed away. Thus, in desperation to collect monetary support from her husband's family, Mary's mother disguises her as the dead son to take his place. For over a decade, Mary and her mother are able to survive off of this inheritance. Dressed as a boy, Mary takes work as a footboy, and is later employed on board sailing vessels. Her experience on the ocean leads to her joining the British military in battle against the French. Still disguised as male, she proves herself in the military, but gives up that life to marry a Flemish soldier. The happy couple uses her military commission to purchase an inn called the Three Horseshoes in the Netherlands, where they live until her husband's untimely death. Left alone, Mary resumes her male disguise and takes to the seas once more on board a ship bound for the West Indies. One fateful day, while Mary is working on the ship, her vessel is attacked and boarded by the pirate crew of the Calico Jack. Assuming Mary to be an able-bodied man, John Rackham takes her on as another of his pirates. For a time, both women manage to hide their true identities, until Anne becomes attracted to Mary. This leads to the two of them revealing to each other that they are both women. When Rackham suspects the two of having an affair, Anne discloses Mary's gender to settle his worries, making them the only ones on board to know the truth. Anne becomes pregnant with Rackham's child, so they let her off in Cuba to bear his son. After the son is born, Anne rejoins Rackham's crew and teams up with Mary Read to cause havoc at sea. The two both being women helps them form a close bond as friends and comrades in arms, a relationship that transcends romantic love. They love each other as close friends and family members. Between them, Anne is a daredevil, an expert in handling men, who has no fear of death, instead greeting it all with a laugh. That said, she is unconditionally friendly, until provoked. Mary, on the other hand, is more ladylike, despite being raised as a man. In truth, she merely masters putting on a masculine front to hide her inner feminine nature. She is initially difficult to approach, but tends to get emotionally attached to those she does befriend. Regardless, she displays dauntless courage on the battlefield. These women excel in combat. Anne is a talented marksman with a long-barreled blunderbuss. She is known to be able to hit her targets even when aboard a sinking ship. Mary specializes in raiding ships and wields a cutlass wrapped in red cloth. Apparently, some of their victims can tell they're women based on the size of Anne's bust, but the two nonetheless curse and swear alongside their fellow men. Rockham's crew spends years pirating in Jamaica and its surrounding waters, building up a reputation as wanted pirates. Their exploits are published in the Boston Newsletter, attracting the likes of pirate hunter Captain Jonathan Barnett. Their raiding days come to an end on the 15th of November, 1720, when Barnett takes them by surprise whilst having a rum party. Barnett launches a volley of fire onto Rockham's ship to prevent it from fleeing. Drunk and cowardly, Rockham and nearly all of his men flee to the hold, effectively leaving Anne and Marie on their own to combat Barnett's boarding party. Enraged and betrayed, Mary angrily shoots into the hold, screaming, "Come out and fight like men!" killing and wounding their cowardly comrades. It seems only Anne and Mary fully understand what is at stake. Regardless of gender, their sentence for piracy will undoubtedly be death by hanging, and so they fight desperately in their final battle. Encouraged by their constant war cry, Anne and Mary immerse themselves in combat, with rifles firing and cutlasses twirling, while the rest of Rockham's crew shiver in fear, proving that the Calico Jack only has two real pirates. Stained in blood, they fight like women possessed, but are ultimately overtaken. Rockham surrenders, causing everyone to be captured. His crew is taken to trial at Spanish Town, Jamaica, under Sir Nicholas' laws. As expected, all of them are sentenced to hang for their piracy. In response to his cowardice, Anne Bonny delivers her final words to the captain with scorn in her eyes. "Had you fought like a man, you need not have hanged like a dog." As the men are hanged, Anne and Mary postpone their execution by pleading the belly, revealing that they are both pregnant, earning them a stay of execution until they give birth. Tragically, Mary dies from fever in prison, unable to deliver. Anne survives long enough to deliver her child, but records are vague regarding her fate. It is sometimes assumed she escapes due to her father's influence. In any case, John Rockham goes down in history as the shameful captain who only thrived due to the bravery of his female pirates. Thanks to this, Anne Bonny and Mary Read are recorded into the throne of heroes, with their close bond making them inseparable. While they have no wish for the Holy Grail, it is a supreme treasure that no pirate can ignore. Thus, in the modern era, the two are summoned into the singularity of Okeanos by a Holy Grail in the possession of Captain Edward Teach, the infamous Blackbeard. They are summoned as a single servant, sharing parameters that claim the best of each of their respective talents. It is a rare and exciting opportunity to continue their journey as pirates. Unfortunately, their new captain just so happens to be a filthy womanizer and pervert. In pursuit of the Grail, however, they reluctantly join Blackbeard as he seeks out the goddess Uriel. This makes them enemies when Chaldea sends its master, Ritsuka Fujimaru, to retrieve the Grail. Regardless, they stick to their promise and fight even against fellow pirate Francis Drake, whom they admire and respect. In battle, Anne and Mary share the same fate. If one should fall, the other will join them. While this may seem like a hindrance, it actually allows the two to complement each other. This is best represented during their noble phantasm, Caribbean Free Bird, wings abreast, as if trees with entwined branches. Their brave, final struggle against capture and life manifests in a technique in which Anne uses her musket to cover for Mary's cutlass fury. The more at a disadvantage they are, the stronger their assault becomes. Ultimately, even this strength isn't enough to oppose Ritsuka and their servants. At the end of 2 grueling fights, Anne and Mary are defeated, wishing they could have met Ritsuka under different circumstances. As it turns out, their wish is granted when, thanks to Chaldea's fate system, Anne and Mary are summoned by Ritsuka with the new mission of saving humanity from incineration. As part of their duties, Anne and Mary are able to accompany Ritsuka and Mashu on seafaring expeditions, which prove promising in at least 2 cases. In one, they search the high seas in search of Captain Kidd's treasure. Mary leads the group to an island she visited before becoming a pirate. Along the way, they fight against undead pirates and compassionately lay their bodies to rest. Within a deep cave, they find the ghost of Captain Kidd guarding his treasure. As pirates do, Anne and Mary force their way through and claim it. While impressive, the treasure does not sate their lust for adventure, and so they set their sights on the treasure of the Knights Templar. As dragons do, one such beast is guarding the treasure, posing an exciting challenge. Compared to the wealth of the world, the 2 women find no grander adventure than joining Chaldea in search of grails. Their sacrifice to save the world offers them an ideal excuse to plunder further riches for the sake of humanity. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy this channel, help me beat the algorithm by liking, commenting, and sharing the video, subscribing to OtakuDaiKun, and most of all, smashing that notification bell as if it were your waifu. That way you'll never miss out on all of my anime content, lore videos, live streams, and Holy Waifu Wars polls. My vids are struggling to get featured, so that bell is absolutely critical. If you want to support me directly, check out my Patreon, or consider donating via Super Chat. And as always, celebrate your fandom.